Welcome to the Great Gloucester GrowDown. I'm Backyard Growers founder and executive director Lara Lepionka. It's been a long road, and we had hoped to be celebrating with you in person this year. But as in 2020, COVID-19 had other plans for our epic annual event. With this year's event, we are celebrating a special milestone. Burnham's Field Community Garden turns 10 years old. We're raising funds to pursue the expansion of this community garden in the heart of downtown Gloucester to meet the truly explosive need we've seen for food growing space in the city. You can help us reach our $20,000 online fundraising goal by donating at backyardgrowers.org. Thank you for continuing to support our work during this difficult and often overwhelming time. We're looking forward to sharing the story of our work during this growing season with you and making plans together for the next. So now, let's go over to a grow bag garden where Backyard Growers Board President Dr. Brian Orr will kick things off.
Thanks, Lara. Hello, everyone. I'm pleased to be speaking to you as president of the board at Backyard Growers, an organization that is an incredible health and wellness resource for our community, led by Lara and her team with creativity, smarts, and compassion. Where I'm sitting is an example of that approach. I'm at a grow bag garden full of cherry tomatoes, okra, beans, peppers, located in a downtown Gloucester driveway. It is this kind of creative problem solving that makes Backyard Growers an extraordinary resource to kids, families, and seniors in our community. Now I'd like to introduce you to Carol Lee, one of our newest board members, who has a deep connection to Backyard Growers' mission of increasing healthy food access among children in particular. Over to you, Carol.
Thanks, Dr. Orr. I'm Carol. I discovered Backyard Growers 2 years ago when I was researching local organizations that helped advocate for food justice. I wanted to join the board at Backyard Growers because I wanted to be surrounded by people who cared about the mission so deeply like I did in building up the community and strengthening the people within it. The work personally resonates to my life growing up. Growing up in rural Maine to immigrant families, food was a competing priority to different things in our life. When I was in my early teens, my father suffered from a heart attack and lost his job. My family started growing vegetables, some tomatoes, cucumbers, and zucchini. In a few months, the garden just bloomed. And so we're able to do a plentiful harvest and share it amongst the immigrant community, which inspired them to also grow their own gardens. So my family would partake in a very informal harvest share with their friends. The 2021 growing season has been a time of reconnection for Backyard Growers' community of gardeners. They returned to the garden to work together on maintaining spaces, exchanging knowledge, and making life-sustaining connections, rather than carefully visiting in isolated shifts. Community interest in growing food has gone through the roof, especially at community gardens where the wait list tripled in length. Backyard Growers directly manages 5 community gardens throughout Gloucester, while supporting 5 additional gardens at partner nonprofit sites like the Open Door, Wellspring House, and Action Inc. Lara mentioned our event fundraising goal is $20,000 to expand Burnham's Field Community Garden. We are working quickly to be able to accommodate new gardens at this time when our community is so vulnerable and is in deep need of healing. Willowwood Community Garden is one of our sites where people come together, not just to grow food, but to gather and connect. This year, we received funding in part from the Essex County Community Foundation's Creative County Initiative and the Amelia Peabody Foundation to build on community momentum behind this space, which we originally built in 2018. In partnership with Gloucester Housing Authority and Cape Ann Chamber of Commerce, Backyard Growers and the Willowwood community are envisioning and then creating a new food growing and gathering space called Agriculture at the community garden. Developed through a collaborative design process led this summer by Studio Full Design with residents at Willowwood Gardens, kids, seniors, and adults are sharing the power of food traditions with stories as they decide together how they want the new space to not only look, but function. What's important to this community? Cooking classes, room for art, a food forest, and plants for native pollinators? The final design will be an expression of this community's needs and desires.
I know how important food security is. I dealt with food insecurity when I was a kid, and learned a lot about food pantries and that sort of thing when I was growing up. And I've made it a point to kind of try to do better with access to healthier foods. And Backyard Growers has allowed for me to do that. And in turn, I think that my space at the board of directors allows for me to pass that on to other people. I got involved with Willowwood Community Gardens in 2018 when my son took interest in the beds that were newly built. He was coming home from school one day and he just said, "I want to get a garden bed." And I said, okay, let's try it. It's a good area to come down to and just spend time with the family. Through this garden, I have met so many neighbors. I've lived here for 9 years, but didn't really know anyone until we started the garden. This garden and the ability to grow our own food in our own garden bed has meant a lot to my family. We're healthier, happier, and more connected because of it. Please donate today to help us bring this experience to even more people through the expansion of the Burnham's Field garden beds.
As food insecurity deepened during the COVID-19 pandemic, it was clear that the need for growing solutions for non-traditional spaces and people who didn't own their own homes was the community's next barrier to tackle. The Backyard Growers team put their heads together and launched the Grow Bag Garden program, spearheaded by Program Director Corinne Lippy.
We created the Grow Bag Garden program in response to COVID-19 and the rise in food insecurity, and wanting to reach people we were not currently reaching through our traditional programs. So as a means to get folks who had other barriers to growing food, like they didn't have access to a community garden or a yard, or maybe they were renters and didn't have stable outdoor space. So we launched the Grow Bag Garden program in May, and to date we've distributed over 50 Grow Bag Gardens to folks on Cape Ann. We've also distributed over 500 Grow Bag kits through community partnerships, schools, and consulting work that we do. Anyone on Cape Ann in financial need can apply through our website for the Grow Bag Garden program. With that, they receive a set of 3 grow bags delivered by us and placed appropriately in their space with organic potting soil, seeds, veggie starts, access to our workshop, and all of the accompaniments that come with being part of our programs. There's a lot of potential for the program to expand, both within Cape Ann and beyond. Grow bags allow us to be portable and modular, to create new partnerships using the bags like our Veggie RX program and through other types of consulting work that we do with schools and community partner organizations.
I've always wanted to grow a garden and never really had the space to or the time. So now that I have an opportunity and I'm really working on my health and my wellness and getting the kids food conscious, I didn't realize how much my kids didn't think about what all of us putting into our bodies, and having something growing from its seed all the way to being able to consume them in our foods. It made me feel accomplished. My kids, they had a closer appreciation for gardening and just watching life grow. Seeing something start growing, taking care of it, and making sure it's taken care of. It was a responsibility too that all of us had to be a part of together.
At the same time in 2021, Backyard Growers expanded the community of gardeners within and beyond Cape Ann to include new partnerships like the YMCA's Camp Spindrift, where the team created a brand new garden for hundreds of campers to plant and harvest their own food during the summer. Backyard Growers consulting work also expanded. We launched a new offering for housing developments and community organizations while scaling up our school program consulting. Through this broadened focus, we reached new groups such as the Salem Council on Aging, Ipswich Housing Authority, Elder Services of the Merrimack Valley, and the statewide network of SNAP Ed programs, constituting 10 new impact areas in communities outside of Gloucester. We worked with nonprofit partners to build new gardens, train residents, and connect them with grow bags so that they can grow their own food at home. With some restrictions easing, we're thrilled to continue our work in schools this year and connected with students in the garden in the spring for our award-winning Salad Days program. Students planted and harvested lettuce, enjoyed mint from the sensory beds, and donated their harvest to the food pantry at the open door. It was a nice return to semi-normal salad days for Gloucester students. Next up, fall harvest days. Parent volunteers power our work in Gloucester Public Schools, helping weed, water, and maintain the thriving gardens that the kids return to each fall.
In school, there aren't very many opportunities to volunteer where you get such a nice chunk of time with kids and you kind of get to see the teacher a little bit, so being outside with them is really fun, and it's a little more relaxed than being in the school. I really like the harvest days. I mean, those are very exciting, especially if there are pumpkins involved. I mean, the kids get so excited when there's this beautiful little orange thing, and actually the teachers do too. They usually want to have a couple to take back to their classroom and kind of watch them decompose.
My favorite thing is that, well, we all get to plant the vegetables and then we get to harvest them and then we get to eat them.
I like the cleanup days when there's a huge truckload of dirt and everybody comes and we all help put it in the beds.
My favorite vegetable is carrots, and I like them because you can pull them up, and you don't know how big they are or if they're gonna be, what color they're gonna be.
New schools across the Commonwealth continue to adapt our seed to fork school garden model, including Golden Hill School in Haverhill and the Salem Public School system. Our school garden programs are now in action in over 30 Massachusetts schools, laying the foundation for healthy habits in over 15,000 students a year. We welcomed our new program coordinator, Jess Reed, and garden educator, Haley Small, to round out the small but mighty 6-person Backyard Growers team. Jess is managing Backyard Growers community programs and supporting our diverse population of gardeners with their backyard gardens, grow bag gardens, and at the community gardens. Haley is implementing all school programs in Gloucester Public Schools, including Backyard Growers, award-winning K-5 salad days, and fall harvest days, as well as innovative preschool and middle school programs. She will also support the continued expansion of Backyard Growers school consulting services to new schools and districts. Beyond team growth, we also moved into a new space at 103 Maplewood Ave in Gloucester, with ample room for meeting with program participants, hosting workshops, and continuing to collaborate together. We're so grateful to Jesse DeBenedictis and his team at Works by JD for helping make the space beautiful, light, and airy. Finally, as we look to the future, we asked gardeners, volunteers, and Backyard Growers friends to share some of their hopes for 2022. We'd love to see yours in the comments. In 2022, I would love to learn how to grow herbs.
I would love to see our workshops come back and be able to do some more cooking demos, as those kind of ignited my son's passion with cooking.
My hope for my garden in 2022 is that I have twice the size of a garden.
My hope for the community in 2022 is that we can grow together around the garden.
My hope for 2022 is that we can continue to push through traditional barriers and advocate for systems change while having a measure of grace and humility with one another.
This year, my sunflowers didn't do well at all, and so I'm really hoping for some great ones next year.
Burnham's Field is the largest green space and ball field in central Gloucester, and for a lot of kids and families who live down in Ward 2, who live downtown, it's a place, it is their backyard. It's a place for them to enjoy open space and be outside. And we're hoping this year to expand the Burnham's Field Community Garden to allow those families to benefit even more from Burnham's Field and being down here in this open space and green area in downtown Gloucester.
My hope for 2022 is that for kids to be able to go to school safely without masks, and they can participate in their sports, activities, groups, and interact together in their level of community so that they can grow and develop well.
My hope for our community in 2022 is that even more kids, seniors, and families have access to the resources they need to grow their own food. We can't get there without you. Thank you for continuing to support our programs and working with us tonight to help make it possible for us to expand and enhance our community gardens so that more people can come together to grow their own healthy, fresh food. Thanks to all who joined us tonight for this unique GrowDown, and I hope you'll join me in the hope that next year we can celebrate in person another season of communities growing their own food.